Super Mitchell here. Back with Danganronpa, and I'm going to finish the trial. I made my decision. I have to believe in Kyoko. There's no way she would kill anyone. There has to be some secret here. Something that has to do with the mastermind trap that Kyoko mentioned.
Well, does no one have a rebuttal? Have you decided to accept her assertion as fact? I see. So you still refuse to accept it. I suppose we have to admit that Kyoko didn't put the locker key in her room. That it was someone else.
But who else could it have been?
I mean, Byakuya had a room key, right?
You! What are you trying to—
But of course I have an alibi. From nighttime on, I was with you guys the entire time. I couldn't possibly have killed anyone. Or put the key in Kyoko's—
Well, someone had to put the key in there.
There's only one other possibility I can think of. Someone could have had the key on them, then once they arrived at the scene, pretended to find it there.
What? It had to be Makoto, right?
I don't see any other option.
Wait a second. You've got it all wrong. Let's think about it one more time. There's gotta be a hidden side to this case.
Huh? A hidden side?
First of all, there's something off about this entire trial. You all see it, don't you? Mukuro, who he didn't even know existed, suddenly shows up dead. And then we're thrown into a trap, and Kyoko even said, it's a trap the mastermind set for us. So that's why this has to be—
Okay!
Huh?
Time's up! Class trial's all over! Everyone can stop talking now!
What? Time's up?
What do you mean time's up? There's no time's up. Since when have we—
It's because you were late, so we had to push back the start time.
I don't even get a closing argument.
So then, it's time for voting time, okay?
Voting time?
A B, C, B, A. You know, I did better than I expected. An A. Okay. I thought I was gonna get like a D or a C.
Now, who will be chosen as the blackened? Will you—
Hey, hold on!
What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
And they all chose me. What? You think I'm the killer? Sorry, man.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. It's all your fault. Everyone, you're wrong. You've got it all wrong. I didn't do it.
Yes, indeed.
Good job, everyone. Good job.
Yep.
Yeah, they got it right. No, I don't. I know that's not true. None of this makes any sense. This whole trial doesn't make any sense.
Hey!
It makes perfect sense.
Shing!
It's the same as always. It's just like all the other class trials, and I'm gonna end it the same way.
Thrills! Chills!
It's time for your
kills!
heart-pounding, positively thrilling punishment. Wait, I didn't. Why do I? Kyoko.
I don't expect you to forgive me. I know this is all my fault.
Kyoko?
Let's give it everything we've got! It's punishment time!
Well, time for the same punishment that Kyoko had. You know, honestly, I feel better watching this than Kyoko getting at Skid. So, hey, the music's the same. After school lesson. You know, Makoto's not even strapped down to a chair. Like, just get out of the chair. So, Alter Ego saves the day. Huh? Huh? What's this? What's going on? Hey, what's that? Ah, yeah. It had to be
This is...
Alter Ego. Alter Ego. Is this some stupid virus from that stupid guy? He must have planted it when he invaded my network. Dang it, all the heck. I don't believe this.
It would seem...
It seems you finally made a miscalculation. No, you miscalculated from the very beginning.
What the heck?
What was that?
In other words...
What I'm saying is, you shouldn't have underestimated us. Why are you talking like you already won? I barely felt a thing. It was a pinch an inch. The super virus is gone now. Got it? And then so is Makoto. Maybe I didn't get to smash him flat, but you're never gonna see him again. To waste away in a garbage strewn pit. In a way that's even that's an even better punishment, special punishment. But still not enough. I'm still not satisfied. I'm not gonna bring despair to the rest of you. Bring despair to the entire world. Is he gone? Hey Kyoko, what's the meaning of all this? Just what the heck is going on?
Calm down.
It's okay. We're not the ones being trapped this time.
In other words...
Now it's the mastermind that's ensnared.
What did you say?
What are you talking about?
So...
You'll understand soon enough. Very soon indeed. The massive high school towers over all the buildings in this bustling urban area. It's like the school stands at the center of the entire world. Host Peak Academy. It brings in top students from every field imaginable. A government-funded school of privilege. They say that if you come here and manage to graduate, you'll be set for life. With hundreds of years of tradition, it sends the cream of the crop into the workforce every year. It was built to raise hope in the nation's future, which makes Hope's Peak a pretty fitting name. There are two things you need to attend the school. One, you have to already be attending high school. Two, you have to be the very best at what you do. No ordinary student could enroll here. The only way in is if you're scouted by the school itself. And staying there at the ultimate school, filled with ultimate students, was me. What? Where am I? I woke up with my head on, my head resting on top of a hard wooden desk. My body felt heavy. It wouldn't be weird for me to zonk off in the middle of some boring class or whatever, but what was I doing asleep here just now? It wasn't any classroom I'd ever been in before. What the heck is going on? Okay. Finally, I could finally feel my mind and body start to come back together, and then I was awake. Or was this just another dream? A dream inside a hopeless nightmare. No, this isn't a dream. I could tell because the stench invading my nostrils was too powerful for a dream. What an awful smell. I was in a vast dark cavern with the barest hint of light sleeping in. Trash was piled all across the area. This must be some kind of underground garbage pit. A heck of a situation to find myself in. But that was just the beginning of all of my problems. Was I going to be stuck in there until I wasted away and died? No, I can't let that happen. Not after what my good friend went through to save me. I remembered all that too well. Well, what happened? Alter Ego saved me. And he used up the last little bit of his strength to do it. So I can't give up now. For myself and for my friend. And with that, my pursuit of survival began. First up was to start looking for the way out of here. It's locked. No matter how many times I push or pull or kick at it, it didn't budge. Getting out of here isn't going to be that easy. Well, if I'm not getting out of here anytime soon, I decided to look around for some food. There's plenty of food, but it's all rotten. But that was pointless too. Next, I searched for some water. How can I be so sure which liquid I could drink, and which ones are an all-around bad idea? Again, pointless. I feel like I'm blocking in on all sides, but that's still not enough reason to give up because I'm still alive. As long as I'm alive, I'll never give up. After making that proud declaration, the next thing I decided to do was go to sleep. My sleep was deep and uninterrupted. That was my only way to preserve what little strength I had left after not being able to eat or drink. I can't be sure, but I think at least a full day had to have passed. And all I did was sleep and sleep. It was like I was waiting for some kind of sign to come falling out of the sky. However, what fell from the sky wasn't a sign exactly. What the? The strange sound pierced my silent isolation, jarring me awake. As I watched a pile of trash jostled and form an odd shape. Did something fall down over there? Something fell from the top above. What could it have been? Did a giant piece of trash just fall down here? I carefully stretched my hand out towards whatever it was that had tumbled down here with me.
Just a second.
Giant piece of trash, rude. Before she even emerged from the pile of trash, I knew who it was.
It smells.
You have a ramen on your head.
Indeed.
Kyoko, you look like you're doing better than I expected. What are you doing here?
So...
Isn't it obvious? I'm here to help you. I'm glad to hear that, Kyoko. You got a bit of garbage in your hair. She gave her head a quick, sharp shake to get rid of the trash, then faced me again. First, I have something for you. Go ahead and eat. Eat it. We can talk once you're finished. Thank you. I snatched the bread and water that she was holding out for me. Within seconds, it was in my stomach and making its way toward my mouth, making its way towards my stomach. Ew, that really hit the spot. Now I've got all the energy I need to get going. So you still haven't given up then? Of course not. After all, the fact that I can keep going forward is about all I'm good at.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's not such a bad thing to be good at. Okay. But Kyoko, why'd you come to rescue me?
So...
To pay a debt, or no, to atone.
You...
During the trial, even though you knew I was lying, you didn't say anything. So you knew that I knew.
Indeed.
But even though I knew, I did nothing to help you. I abandoned you. Don't say that. You didn't abandon me. That's exactly what I did. I abandoned you in order to save my own life. You were trying to save me, and I couldn't bring myself to do the same for you.
However...
But listen, not that I'm trying to make excuses, but there was a reason that I had to survive, no matter the cost. Why did you have to survive?
It's true.
I'll tell you everything. The reason I had to survive...
In other words...
is so that I can do what I came to school to do. What? I made up my mind to come to Hope's Peak Academy for one very important reason.
Correct. In other words...
So you have some reason for coming to Hope's Peak. That's right, at least I did once. Once. Until recently, I'd forgotten what it was. You forgot, but that's... Then is it really true? You lost your memory?
Makoto.
Do you remember, Makoto? Do you remember the first thing that happened to each of us as soon as we arrived at the school? The first thing? You're talking about when we fainted, right? I fainted, and when I woke up, I was trapped here.
That's right.
I fainted too, and when I woke up, I noticed a strange feeling of separation within myself. A disconnect.
It would seem...
Thinking back on it now, at that point my memory was gone. At that time I'd forgotten. I couldn't remember why I'd come to school, and I couldn't remember what my ultimate ability was. But what would make you forget all that?
Hey.
Strange, isn't it? It's hard to imagine it happened by chance. It seems much too convenient. Are you saying you think you lost your memory because...
Indeed.
I don't think I'm positive it was the work of the mastermind. They stole my memory. But why would they want to do that? There's only one reason I can come up with. Because of my purpose, my ability. Somehow they would interfere with the mastermind's plans. So the mastermind just stole them from you.
However...
And it could also mean, however, my memory may be connected to the mystery of the school and the mastermind. Which is why I have to get them back. That's why I've been investigating things by myself this whole time. But if what you say is true, why didn't you ask the rest of us to help you?
Why is that?
If I did that, and we all worked as one, the mastermind would have noticed right away. Plus, there's always a chance that the mastermind is actually one of us. What?
Correct.
Well, don't make too big a deal of it. It's just a possibility. But since it is a possibility, we can't ignore it. The mastermind, one of us? If she believed that, then of course she couldn't trust anyone around her. In which case, it only makes sense that she would look into her missing a memory by herself.
However...
That being said, there was a limit to what I could do by myself. Which is why I asked you to help me. Well, why me? Because among everyone, you were least likely to be the mastermind. That was just intuition, but I see. Your intuition was right, though. There's no way an ordinary kid like me could have been the mastermind.
I understand. My goal isn't to get out.
Okay. It's just like the dream I had before, but why did that just happen?
Listen.
Are you okay? Oh yeah, it's nothing. It is nothing, right?
Hey.
Even now, I still trust you, you know? It's just, I'm not used to relying on others.
Correct.
I know I never asked you for help the right way, so I understand if you're not convinced. Honestly, I was convinced. I think that's just her personality. You said you had a reason for doing all the investigation on your own. So how'd that turn out? Were you able to remember anything? I think there's still a lot I don't remember, but at the very least, I was finally able to recall my purpose and my ability. You mentioned your ability? My ability. what everyone should have known me for. I'm the ultimate detective. Ultimate
Correct.
detective. The reason I came to Hope Speak Academy, there was someone I had to find here in this school. You had to find someone who?
So...
Well, it was the headmaster of Hope Speak Academy. The headmaster. Why'd you want to find the headmaster? Because he's my father. What?
In other words...
I was separated from him as a child, and as it turns out, he became the headmaster of Hope Speak. Kyoko's dad is Hope Speak headmaster. And that explains when Alter Ego told us how he thought the headmaster was involved. I'll find a way.
No matter...
So,
My memory hadn't come back at that point, but when he said that, I felt strange. It makes perfect sense now, of course, since my whole purpose was for coming here was to find him. That makes sense. But listen, Makoto, I want to make this perfectly clear, so there's no misunderstanding. I said the headmaster wasn't the mastermind, but I didn't say that to protect him. I only said what I felt based on what I'd seen when I snuck into the headmaster's room. Then, what did you see in there?
So...
The room had been ransacked. The shelves were a mess. The desk drawers dumped on the floor. The only conclusion is that someone who didn't know where anything was had been in there. You mean the mastermind, right?
It's true.
That was my assumption, yes. And to confirm my suspicion, I decided to investigate the second floor of the dorms, using the key I found. But why there? Because I also found this in the headmaster's room. This is some kind of map.
Indeed.
It's a layout of the entirety of Hope Speak Academy. I found it in the headmaster's room, along with Mukuru's profile and that key. The map showed that the second floor was home to a number of rooms meant for faculty use. Some of the staff must have had to stay overnight from time to time. And I figured the headmaster would have some kind of private room there. I assumed that if that were true, the rooms would likely hold more clues, so I went to check.
Correct.
That's what I finally remembered. I remember that my purpose was to find the owner of that room. So you went there to see if the headmaster really did have a private room there.
However,
once I got there, I noticed that the second floor of the dorms didn't have any cameras or monitors. So what was it like, that part of the school? I mean, it's hard to describe. All I can say is, the moment I saw it, I realized whatever's going on in this school is more horrific than we ever imagined. What do you mean? I can't explain it. You need to see it for yourself. And I'm sure you'll get your chance soon enough. It sounds like it must be important. And really ominous. Can I get out yet?
however...
Of course, okay. Which is why I have no idea what was going on in the rest of the building. Dang it.
However...
Okay. It has to do with Mikuru Ikosaba, right?
However...
Just to be perfectly clear, I didn't kill her. And I know it wasn't you either. I know you're right, but that just means... everyone but you and me had an alibi, so then who did kill her? What I can say for sure is that the mastermind is directly involved. To begin with, the point of the class trial of Mikuru Ikosaba was to get me killed. Get you killed.
Indeed.
I stole that key and disappeared, and in retaliation, they wanted to draw me out and eliminate me.
Correct.
That was the point of the class trial. It was. The mastermind knew they couldn't interfere directly. You mean because of the school regulations?
That's right.
Exactly.
In other words,
The mastermind is so adamant about following the rules, and with that rule in place, they couldn't step in. Since they couldn't kill me themselves, they tried to use the class trial to do it. The mastermind couldn't step in because of the rules. That makes it sound like the mastermind himself is somehow bound by the school regulations.
hey,
There's one other thing I'd like to point out about the murder of Mikuru Ukusabe. What's that? There was a point where Mikuru may not have become the victim. It could have been you, Makoto.
indeed.
Okay. It could have become... I could have become the victim?
Indeed.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Do you mean... during the night? I can hear them, you know. The footsteps of the God of Death. What? I can hear the God of Death as he moves. That ability naturally draws me into cases just like this.
Anyway,
Which is exactly what happened to you. I was in the dorms and I had a sudden sense of dread. I looked down the stairwell and I saw a white shadow cross the corridor. I gave chase right away. As I followed it, I saw the shadow go into your room.
correct.
I ran into the room and I saw what was happening. I intervened immediately, of course.
However,
That wasn't the end of things, of course. I stopped them, but that led to... whoever the Master Silent was, they ended up dead.
correct.
And their murder was disguised. And the dojo key wound up in my room. It all has to be with the work of the mastermind, in an attempt to use the class trial to eliminate me. So all this would mean that whoever killed Mikuru is also the mastermind, right?
Indeed.
I don't have conclusive evidence, but that's what I think. But that's really bad if true. It means the mastermind can kill whoever they want if they feel like it. Wait, but doesn't that create another contradiction? The mastermind wanted to use the class trial to try and kill you because they couldn't interfere, right?
Correct.
You're right. That is a contradiction. And it's not Mikuru. They need the class trial to kill me, but seemed ready to kill you in your room. Everything they did is a contradiction. So what does it all mean?
In other words,
It means that the mastermind is the one who's been cornered. Huh?
Makoto.
Just a little more, and I should be able to figure out the mastermind's identity. The identity of the other Ultimate Despair. Other Ultimate Despair? There's no doubt that Mikuru was the Ultimate Despair and that she's dead. But I don't think the Ultimate Despair is just one person. It's not.
Indeed.
If you think about it, the Ultimate Despair seems to implicate whoever caused this event. You're talking about what happened a year ago. The biggest, most tragic, the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. The tragedy, whoever's responsible for that, they're the Ultimate Despair. That despicable group, whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. Then they're... make no sense. They're the root of all evil. That has forced us to go through this. That is the Ultimate Despair? And that is our real intimate enemy? Okay. Chapter 5 is done. Yep. The ultimate despair. A group of people who caused the tragedy 1 year ago. Those same people put together this killing game and began broadcasting it around the world. The most desperately awful group of people ever. That is the Mastermind's true identity. Our enemy has finally been revealed. But right now we have to get out of this horrible place. Figuring out the rest of the story can come later. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Sucked, but we have a way to open the door. Kyoko, do you still have that one thing? Monokuma's secret tool that you got from the Mastermind Germ?
Indeed.
Of course I do. It's an absolutely vital part of ensnaring the Mastermind. I wouldn't be part of it. Alright. And it can open any door in the school, right?
That's right.
That's true. Oh yeah? Then we should be able to use it on the door, right? Hey Gyoko, we can use that key of yours to open this door, right?
It's true.
Let's find out. Gyoko took out the key with the Monokuma design on it and slid it into the keyhole. And then... Yes, it's open.
Indeed.
Now we can get out of here. Let's go. Sounds good. Quickly opened the door and made our escape from the garbage pit. Finally. We were finally free. But there wasn't even time to take a breath of relief. Because the real fight had just begun. Ultimate pain, ultimate suffering, ultimate despair, as ultimate execution, ultimate death. After leaving the garbage pit, we found ourselves in a tunnel extending straight up like a chimney. There was a metal ladder leading up into the tunnel. We started climbing the ladder, intent on reaching the surface. The ladder was impossibly long. I couldn't even see where it ended. We climbed into darkness. The passage was so dark and cramped, I couldn't even see my own feet beneath me. I had no idea we were so far down. Don't lose your footing. If you slip, I won't be able to catch you. Yeah, be careful. But now that you said that, I'm getting kind of nervous. Maybe talking will help keep my mind out of it. So Kyoko, there's something I wanted to ask you. You said you're the ultimate detective, right? So how long have you been doing detective work? How long? Ever since I can remember. I come from a long line of detectives. Detective work is in my blood. There was a time when being a detective was considered a sacred duty. My family's always seen it that way. Then is your family famous? Wrong. Quite the opposite, actually. Even among actual detectives, many people haven't heard of us. But how come it's like your family tradition, right? So,
right.
Because we take pride in it.
Indeed.
Pride? A detective is neither light nor shadow. We represent neither justice nor evil. That is how we can uncover the absolute truth. We stand natural in all things. And to do that, we have to stand separate from the rest of society. Which is why we made a conscious effort to conceal our existence. A conscious effort.
It's true.
It's kind of old-fashioned, and I can't say it's entirely rational. But it's our family's creed, and we do what we must do to protect it. Because, like I said, it's our source of pride. So that explains. Before I came here, when was looking up info about the school online, I never saw anything about her. Because she hid herself on purpose to protect the pride of her family.
However...
And yet, I gave up some of that pride. Huh? In order to enter Hope Peak, I had to reveal myself to the school. I didn't knowing it was something a true Kirigiri detective would have never do. But the reason you gave up that pride, The reason you would go so far to enter Hope's Peak is because that's how much you wanted to reconnect with your dad, right? There's no shame in that.
What?
Reconnect. I had absolutely no desire to reconnect with my father. Huh? But you'd be reuniting after all those years, right? You would have had so much to talk about.
Wrong.
There's nothing I want to talk about to my father about. There's something I want to say to him though. But no matter what it takes, I have to find him and tell him face to face. What is it?
So...
I want to sever all ties with him. Sever? The last time I saw him, I was still very young. So I don't remember myself, but apparently, he was extremely intelligent. He was in line to become the next head of the Kirigiri family. He was talented. He had a promising future. But he had no interest in detective work. So he cut himself off from the family. Not long after that, my mother died, and he simply ran away. He went to my grandfather, and they had a huge argument, and young as I was, he left me behind. I'm sure there was a reason for that. I'm sure your dad wanted to take you with him.
Right.
If that's true, then I need to thank him. Thank him for leaving me. Because unlike him, I take pride in the work I do. I take pride in my family name. So every last part of me is happy he didn't take me with him. If I'd gone with him, I never would have had the chance to become a detective. I was above Kyoko on the ladder, so I wasn't able to see her expression. So I couldn't tell. I couldn't see how she looked when she said that, what she might have been feeling. All I could tell was that, compared to her actual usual self, she was more talkative. And more emotional. I don't blame him, no. He had his own life to live. That's what anyone in my position might say, right? But it's not true. But there's one thing that I can never forgive. Really?
So...
The way everyone else looked at me. I was never sad about being left behind, like I said. I think it was a good thing.
However...
But when the rest of my family looked at me, they saw something different. They only saw me as the little girl that was abandoned by her father. That's how they see me even to this day. His shadow has been following me my entire life. I'm sick of it. I need him out of my life. I need to step out of his shadow.
Correct.
That's why I have to find him and tell him we're no longer family. In order to settle the past. In order to remove him from my life forever. I have no doubt he forgot about me years ago. But your family, to just cut him out like that.
Wrong.
Our only connection is through blood, nothing more. And are we connected by heart and soul?
Hey.
No. Is blood really enough to call someone family? Only connected by blood, not by heart or soul. I was so shocked to hear her say that. Something like that. I didn't know how to respond. So instead, I said nothing. There's so much dialogue. I just kept climbing the ladder in complete silence. And after I don't know how long, we finally reached the top. Looks like this is it. On the other side of this door, Hope's Peak is waiting for us. We're back.
That's right.
Remember that hatch on the ground near the trash room? I'm fairly certain that's where we'll come out of. I unlocked it earlier, so it should open without much trouble. Well, here goes nothing. I reached my right hand out, up, and pushed against the hatch. The hatch opened with ease, and so... Looks like we're back. but I can't believe how long that letter was, so I'm exhausted. I can't exactly say we're safe and sound, but at least we're out of there. Never back in Fleet Academy. Kyoko, thank you. I never would have gotten out without you. No thanks necessary. I was just returning the favor. Right. So now what should we do? I'm glad I didn't die, of course, but if the mastermind finds out, and I'm worried about you, too, you helped me, so they might...
Listen.
You're worried? Yeah, of course.
So then...
Then let's just get a concrete answer. Huh?
In other words...
Let's ask Monokuma if there's a reason, if there's a problem with you escaping. Wait, that's...
However...
If we try to hide, it's only a matter of time till we're found out. And it's not like we can run away. As she said, that she pointed at the nearby surveillance camera. So you're saying rather than stressing out over getting caught, we should just give up now. Don't worry, what you think is going to happen isn't.
Because...
The mastermind is the one that's ensnared. The mastermind is ensnared. You said something like that before. What does it mean?
So...
The mastermind stood exposed during the investigation into Mukuru's death. There was a moment where the mastermind let their guard down. There was?
Right.
If we can talk to Monokuma, we can confirm it. And it'll be better for us if we go to him directly before he tracks us down. That should help with our negotiations, whatever. I'm still a little super uneasy about this. But we don't really have a choice, do we?
Indeed.
Monokuma should be in gym. Let's get going. Finally! Just going to the gym till I get more dialogue. Good. Nah, I'm going to dining hall.
Shall we go?
Okay, fine. I'll go to the gym. Okay. Monokuma! Oh, I'm here.
Well now.
Kyoko, I don't mind so much.
I don't
But Makoto's
believe
supposed to be
it!
dead. What's he doing here? That's exactly how I thought he'd react. Are we really gonna be okay? You were supposed to be punished. Did Kyoko help you?
What?
So what if I did? What will you do?
Shing!
If the guilty party is exposed during the class trial, they alone will be executed. It's unfortunate, but that is the rule. So now I gotta punish you again. And this time I won't leave anything to chance. Kyoko, do whatever you feel like you have to. What?
However...
But before you do, let me just say one thing.
Now,
If you execute Makoto, that means you lose. Not that that matters to you, right?
Huh?
They lose.
Hey!
You explain yourself. What do you mean by that?
Because...
Well, you set up this latest class trial yourself, right? I was getting your way, so you wanted an excuse to kill me.
In other words...
I was supposed to be chosen as the Blackened, and then executed, right? Hey, what are you talking about?
However...
But when Makoto chose to overlook my lie, your plan came crashing down. The result of the trial weren't at all what you were expecting. Because you never imagined that in that position, one person would protect another like that.
Right.
And in response to that unexpected development,
Indeed.
you reacted by proclaiming Makoto the Blackened and trying to execute him. You made the choice out of desperation, no more than that. You must have realized that Makoto, who refused to be manipulated, was a threat to you as well.
However,
But then, there was another unexpected development waiting for you. An entity that would throw a wrench, so to speak, in your precious execution machinery. Alter ego. You never imagined the possibility of a being that could come to our aid, even after you'd killed it.
am I wrong?
Now, here's the absolute truth. Makoto didn't kill Mikuru, you did.
Listen to me.
Setsuking Makoto for it would surely be a violation of your rules, which I know you love so much. If the Blackened is exposed, they alone will be executed. That's what you told us, right? And that means I lose? You talk a big game. You're saying the Blackened is me and not Makoto?
Well,
And you can prove this, right?
Well,
No, I can't. Don't just say it like that. What is this? A comedy routine? To make such bold claims without a shred of evidence?
that doesn't matter.
I don't have any right now, but with a little more time, I guarantee I'll find some.
That's right.
Because no matter how deeply you try to bury it, there is only ever one absolute truth. And now you're trying to talk like some kind of famous detective, right?
Because
If Makoto was the killer, he never would have come to you willingly like this. He would have feared for his life, feared another execution. He would have tried to run and hide. He would have been gripped by the despair you love so much. You so love to inspire.
however,
But here we are, confronting you with nothing but hope in our hearts.
what the heck?
That's supposed to be enough to convince me in the absence of evidence?
indeed.
It's not you I'm trying to convince.
Hey,
If you were to execute Makoto right now, everyone out there watching this would be extremely displeased. Huh?
indeed.
Imagine what everyone out there would think if you killed Makoto. They would assume that you killed him because what we said is exactly right.
Listen to me.
Despair can never kill hope.
Hey,
Of course you can say we're just making this all up. You're welcome to prove us wrong. No, you have no choice but to prove it. Because if you kill Makoto without proving your own innocence, you'll be accepting your own defeat. If you want to earn our despair, fair and
that's
square,
what we have to do.
then I suggest you take my advice. So what is his advice?
It's true.
To do Mukuru's trial over again. Only this time, you follow those school regulations to ensure a fair trial.
It's time for one last showdown.
Alright?
One final battle between hope and despair.
I like this Kirigiri online.
Hey,
Well, that would make for a proper climax, wouldn't you say? A fair trial. One last showdown, in other words. This would be our chance to expose the true identity of Mukuru's killer, of the mastermind themselves. But what reason would the mastermind have accepted the challenge? They'll probably just execute me without another word. Interesting.
Barrett!
Very interesting indeed.
What's
Barry.
wrong?
Oh, I was getting bored, so I decided to change things up a little. So, time for bear jokes. Now, what you've suggested might be plausible. It would certainly make for one honey of a climax.
in other words,
Does that mean you accept
You
it?
guys!
If we do things your way, that'll be enough to convince you and the viewers, right? And and it would cause you unbearable despair, right? Then I prepared to agree to your terms. Will you hope win out? Or will my despair claim victory?
I can barely contain
Let's have
myself!
one final grisly showdown. He agreed. Then we still have a shot at this.
Barrett!
But this is the long-awaited climax, right? just guessing the killer is barely a fitting
You
end.
guys!
So for the final face-out, you'll have to unearth all the mysteries that have been unburied here. I mean, that have been buried here. All the mysteries? That's right. Even every last mystery that's plying around school. Even you can do that.
I can barely contain myself!
And that'll be enough to qualify a victory for you.
It's true.
That's what we've been trying to do all along. Okay, well good. Then let's bear it all. If you can claw your way to the truth of Mukuru's death and solve the mysteries of the school,
Guys!
then you win. But if you can't do all that, well, I'll face execution, right? I can barely contain my excitement. When you learn the whole truth, what kind of despair will you show me? We're as excited as you are, I'm sure.
Listen to me.
When we've uncovered every last truth, how will the ultimate despair reveal their own despair? I honestly can't believe how this has all turned out.
Hey,
But before we get started, I want to clarify one more thing. Do you remember the rules? When one student kills another, that's when a class trial is held.
What's wrong?
I remember that for sure.
hey,
So what? I just want to confirm that is what you said, right? And it's a true statement. You don't have to be so suspicious. I've said it before, but it bears repeating. Everything is based on the school regulations, and having a trial for Mikuru is no exception to that. Huh? Mikuru's trial is no exceptions, then it's part of the regulations. Which would have to mean that whoever killed Mikuru, it's a very polarizing approach. I know, but okay, enough puns. Anyway, here's a hint. I'm sure I told you this already, but this killing game began with 16 participants, all of them high school students. And the only people to take a single step in Hope's Peak since the killing game began are those 16 students. What?
listen.
Are you telling the truth? Why'd he go quiet all of a sudden?
Now
I'm done talking to you.
angry!
I got nothing left to say to you. So get lost, would ya? Why he's so mad? He seems emotionally unstable.
Hey!
Leave me alone. Get out of here. Okay, I'm going. You're really gonna let me go. I don't care anymore. You're all gonna get punished. Your punishment later anyway. I need to start getting it ready. A super duper extra special punishment, overflowing with despair.
Hey,
Come on, Makoto, let's go. Okay. Monokima's unstable laughter seems to cling to us as we walked away. And just like that, we were out of the gym. Okay. I could hardly believe it, but somehow I ended up not getting executed. I still had my life, and we still had a chance. Overall, things turned out way better than expected. Once again, I was in Kyoko's depth. Okay. Kyoko, thank you. Everything I have right now is because of you.
however,
Don't think me just now. The real battle is just still ahead of us. Yeah, true. But still, I'm glad it all worked out. I wasn't sure if the enemy would accept my proposal. But honestly, why would the mastermind agree to that? I mean, they don't stand to gain anything from a final showdown, do they?
so,
They had no choice but to accept it. Huh?
because,
It's all because of that one moment that the mastermind let down their guard. So when was it when the mastermind let down their guard?
so,
I wasn't there to hear it myself, but do you remember what the mastermind said? They said, they had hijacked the airwaves to broadcast our school life to the outside world, right? Yeah, they definitely said that.
Listen.
And what did you think when you heard that? Pretty hard to believe, right? Well, I mean, the idea of actually taking over the airwaves seems so unbelievable.
Indeed.
You exactly read about something like that happening very often, so it's hard to imagine. In other words, that kind of thing is extremely difficult to pull off.
However,
And yet, somehow the mastermind was able to do it.
in other words,
But think of it another way. There must have been some reason they had to do something that difficult. A reason?
so
They had to show the world something no matter the cost of us killing each other. They wanted to show the world.
it would seem
The mastermind has been very adamant about not killing us directly, forcing us to kill each other. And all the rules and regulations were designed to encourage that. Yeah, that makes sense. If those stupid regulations don't exist, nobody would have killed anybody.
in other words,
So the mastermind's ultimate goal was to make us kill each other and show that off to the world. But why?
correct.
To prove a point, most likely. Prove a point.
Hey,
The outside world has a name for the students of Hope's Academy, right? A certain concept. You're talking about hope, right?
that's right.
And for those of us who represent hope to kill each other and sink it to despair. The mastermind wants the world to see that, to try and prove that that despair is better than hope. That's their goal as the ultimate despair. What? They want to prove that despair is better than hope. But that's ridiculous.
It's true.
You're right. It is ridiculous. Completely irrational. It's the kind of thing that nobody but those who call themselves the ultimate despair would devise. That group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. But is that really their only reason for making the rest of us suffer?
Makoto.
I know how angry it must make you, and yet the same motivation is what led to the mastermind revealing their weakness. What?
In other words,
Because our goal is to broadcast this killing game to the outside world. The mastermind has had to be more particular than is reasoning about their own regulations. If the mastermind simply ignored their rules, this wouldn't have been a game, but a one-sided slaughter.
at the very least,
At least, that's how those who are watching this would have seen it. And that's why the mastermind couldn't kill any of us
Indeed.
themselves. That is precisely the reason. No matter how much that they may hate what I'm doing, I haven't violated a single one of their regulations. Shinko broke the rules, but she was punished. But in my case, they couldn't lay a finger on me.
right.
So instead, they tried to use the class trial, following all their proper rules to get me killed. They began a trial that didn't have a right answer, then made me out to be the killer. But even that didn't work.
It's true.
Yes, thanks to you. And due to that failure, the mastermind took yet another risk. They attempted to kill you instead, who also was not the killer. And when that fact was exposed on live TV to the entire outside world, the mastermind had to accept their suggestion.
Indeed.
To prove to the world that despair is better than hope. They have to defeat us in perfect form. It would only do the mastermind harm to have it shown that they'd violated their own regulations. But all of that was a hunch, right? And you were still able to get the mastermind to accept your challenge.
However,
Well, it's only thanks to you that we got that chance. Because you believed in me, another path opened up. Still, I can't believe how much of the mastermind's thoughts and plans you were able to figure out. I didn't have the slightest clue.
wrong.
In the end, though, I couldn't prove any of it. It was just my reasoning. Essentially, I was making a bet.
Whew.
But it looks like I got it right. This time, at least I won the bet. She let out a quick sigh, took it as a small sign of relief. To be honest, I haven't been that nervous in a long time. I totally couldn't tell you weren't nervous at all. You seemed totally confident from the moment we decided to go talk to them. Well, presenting a strong demeanor is a fundamental part of negotiation and persuasion, wouldn't you say? Plus, if I'd show my uneasiness, that would have just made you that much more uneasy. Yeah, you're probably right. How pathetic.
However...
Anyway, we can't relax yet. All we've done is earn another chance to fight. We have to win this time.
Correct.
Or everything we've gone through will have been for nothing. You're right. If we can't defeat the mastermind, it'll cost us our lives. There is no exception to that option to that. Okay. But before we begin the final battle, we have to tell the others what's going on. True, but now we know our real enemy is. All we have to do now is work together with everyone to destroy the mastermind. Work together with everyone.
However...
Is that really possible? Huh?
Anyway,
right now, we have to go find the others.
shall we go?
They're probably in the dorms somewhere. Shall we go? You know, I'm gonna end the video off here. This dialogue is too much. See you guys in the next one. Bye.